Good evening. This is Monday evening, Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. In the north. Technically, it's not really that far north, but we can call it that way because it's not very close to the south. Anyways, uh, I've been having a very pleasant day today, and I've been listening to the quandary that has been verbalized by so many people about poor Will Smith. Uh, and he's not poor, children, dear Lord. And and he actually is acting out somewhat the fulfillment of what it is to be a man. And my my mother taught me that. Oh dear Lord, did she teach me? And Will Smith is doing a righteous job of being a man. I faulted him a little bit. I thought he should have closed his hand and made a fist, but quite frankly, there are people in this world that do not merit a man's fist and or a strong, tough woman's fist. It's more like a slap is appropriate because they're kind of pussies. And any woman that I just looked up, I saw Will Smith step up to the comedian that had picked on Will's wife, and dear Lord, I got to watch that quite a few times. I just thought that was inspirational. And Hannity, he's kind of old fashioned, and he's a martial arts character as well, and packs a sidearm, and oh, they have freedom down there in the states, and you can do that. You can carry a concealed weapon, and I mean, if more people carried concealed weapons, there'd be a whole lot less crime. I guarantee you. Okay, let's talk about something else that's going to change the world and everything that you and I hold is near and dear, and that is a government. United States of America, Democratic Party, um, elected a man who was, hey, I am real sensitive about age. I have a couple of friends that are 77 years old. Two of them, in actual fact. One I just met not long ago, and the other is my brother, who is not my brother, but he is my brother. We are spiritual brothers. We have known each other since I was 20 years old, and a little bit before when he scooped the best looking woman out of the church group and married her. And they're still married, and they purposed in the heart to get along. And isn't that kind of a novel idea nowadays? But, anyways, so the United States of America, under the tutorship, directorship of the Liberal Democratic Party, they elected Joe Biden. And from a cognitive standpoint, I think Joe is 78. But from a cognitive standpoint, he was pretty good like 6 months ago. He wasn't great. He never has been great. He has never excelled beyond the corruption of his family. That would be Hunter Biden. That would be Joe Biden's brother, at least one. And the corruption that is represented in marketing your position, place of authority in life for $1. I, I, I queried, wonder how much Joe Biden got paid by and from CCP, from the Chinese Communist Party, from Xi Jinping. What did he sell his soul for? But, anyways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because now we have a 78, he may be 79 now, president in the country just below us who is not mentally, the mental acuity is not there. And that strikes horror and not fear, but fear, okay, in my heart. I'm 72, and I have always said that I feel like 40, and I have behaved too much of the time like I was 14. Okay? Well, it's a fact. So there's no use pretending. But nonetheless, so you have a political leader who has an agenda that is hidden, because if it were exposed, someone would curtail his longevity, shall we say, in the hope that he, Joe Biden, would not lead us as a world into the Third World War. But I have said all along, he already has. It just hasn't been declared yet. So, what do they do with Joe? I mean, he says to his own men in Poland, when you get there, meaning the Ukraine, and he did mean that, you will find women and children fighting for their country. And, like, then he takes a poor little girl who has just escaped bombing and everything else, and she's walked away with nothing into another country, probably with her dad, if he's not too old, her brothers, for sure. She looked like about 30. Her husband, most likely. And grabbed her kids, if she has kids, grabbed her kids and headed for Poland. The dear women who haven't been raped and murdered in front of their own children by Russian soldiers who have not yet deserted, who hold life as though it is absolutely without value. And some Ukrainian soldiers have been misbehaving pretty badly too, just so you know that, okay? People choose to hold someone else's life in less esteem than their own. So Biden says openly that Putin cannot be allowed to stay in power. Well, I have said that, but there's a difference between Joe Biden and myself. I'm just an old rancher in northern Alberta, and I can say that sort of crap and mean it, even as Joe said it and meant it, except that he, as a leader in what used to be the world's great shining light for commerce, democracy, everything else. As a leader, you can't say that. You can believe it. And Joe believes it along with the Democratic Party. And Joe has done everything that he could. Joe Biden has done everything he could to precipitate a third world war. Get over it, children. I am not prophetic in any sense of the word. I've studied scripture. I know what prophecy is. I am not a prophet. But I look around and I see what is going on. And I say, hey, simply this. If a president in the United States of America says there has to be a regime change, the head of Soviet Russia is a butcher, all of which is probably true. But as a world leader, you're not allowed to say that in public because that is stupid. Now, is Joe Biden stupid? Of course he isn't. Is he corrupt? Of course he is corrupt. So, what is happening to the American dollar? Well, it's screwed because so many people have been manufacturing money, and every time they create a dollar that is not based on a gold standard, which is no longer the equitous value that is used when people are making money, it's not. It's not even the country's ability to produce, which it should be, or it should be on the gold standard. It's not. So inflation goes crazy. And the world looks at the United States of America and says, if this is the best you can do, it's not good enough. And it's not good enough. But what happens now? What happens in the United States of America when you have a nutter? That's an Irish term for someone who is failing the mental acuity test, which is summarily summed up in this. What does 2 plus 2 equal? Well, Joe Biden couldn't tell you. I do not mean to denigrate the aged. I'm a tad bit sensitive about that. Joe Biden is as crazy as I was a year ago when a young man insisted on carrying my lunchbox into work. And every time I ate that lunch, I rode with him. He picked me up every morning. Every time I rode with him, and I ate that lunch, ate that food from my own hot box lunch box, which is what you plug into a lighter on a big truck, and you have a hot meal. But every time I ate that, I got crazier and crazier and crazier. It took almost 6 months until whatever drugs that bastard was giving me got out of my system. And I guard myself. Yet I guard myself to make sure that what I say has some cognitive premise, like some validity to it. But Joe Biden is in that. No one's poisoning him, but they don't have to. It's like he spoke, I'm not sure if it was yesterday or today, there was a lady, a good-sized lady, who led him to the pulpit, as it were, the podium, and she stood right beside him, back about one step, and you could see her looking at him, and it was like if that she would somehow try to intervene if he said something profoundly stupid. So here, I'm going to carry this on in the next video. So thank God you don't pay for these things. Okay? I'm serious. I thank God. But this is too much. I'm not running it over 20, and it's less than 15. So we'll just cancel this right here. Okay? We'll kill this. Which is a lot better than Joe Biden trying to kill Putin, because Putin, he won't go down easy. Okay? Okay? Putin, wants to redeem the former Soviet Russia. Okay? You think this is crap? Don't watch the next one. It's not crap. It's not. Sorry. It's not. God bless thee.